All right, I've wanted to talk about this for a really long time, and we're going to talk about stethoscopes. So I usually have my stethoscope in my pocket of a vest or coveralls, usually of what I'm wearing out on the road. And the reason I do that is because I don't like wearing it on my neck for a few reasons. One, I find it very clumsy, and usually these things, as you're looking at an animal, will shift. The bell end is heavier, and so sometimes that'll swing around and get in the way, or it'll fall off. And sometimes these will get in the way of what you're doing. You're trying to examine an animal and reaching, and it gets stuck on things. Can be very distracting. But we're going to be typically examining an animal, a calf, a dog, a cat, something. We're going to have this on. And so if you're reaching around this animal and you have your stethoscope around their armpit area, chest, cavity, you're going to be listening to the heart and lungs. Well, if they have mange or they have ringworms, you have the potential that you could be transferring that to yourself. So a colleague of mine actually shared a story that she was wearing her stethoscope around her neck in the summer and had a habit of doing that, and had examined a calf with ringworm, and ended up, when she put it on her neck, even though we have a ponytail and I have layers on right now, there's still a lot of skin exposed, and she transferred ringworm to her neck and got a raging, tremendous fungal infection from ringworm on the back of her neck, and said it was absolutely miserable and itchy, and had to go to her doctor to get a special medication to treat that. And I have had ringworm on my hands multiple times growing up on a farm and around cattle, and also working with cattle through the years. I mean, it is something that happens, but I really do not want that on my neck because it is itchy and completely miserable. So I prefer to keep my stethoscope in a pocket. Try not to keep it, necessarily right up in front, where if you're handling an animal or you're maneuvering something to restrain, that it could get damaged or bent, or your earpieces could get messed up and out of whack or caught on something. But for me personally, I like to have my stethoscope in a pocket. And so I just have had a few questions about that, and have worked with students in the past who wear that over their neck, and it gets in the way or is very cumbersome. And so for me personally, it works better to have it in a vest, or having one in the room where you're going to be seeing patients and you have one available. But to each their own. Everybody does what they want, but just something to consider if you're working on livestock, especially feedlot cattle coming through that potentially are getting ringworm and having that to deal with. I know I don't want to have it, and I hope that you don't get it either, but one thing to consider when you're wearing a stethoscope.